Dana Holgorsen just wrapped up a jam-packed press conference revealing the real reason that Dylan Raiola is transferring away from Nebraska, everything going on behind the scenes. Where do we go from here with TJ Lateef's development? Are we going to take a quarterback in the portal? Who are we looking for? A couple big bowl game nuggets with the running backs, with the offensive line, everything you need to know, along with exclusive player reactions to Dylan Raiola quitting on the team. They are eye-opening. Dylan Raiola is burning bridges in Lincoln. And Oregon fans, they're currently revolting against them. I'll give you my instant reaction. A bad sign for the future of Nebraska football that nobody's talking about. A big-time quarterback who I am eyes out for to join this team next year and compete with TJ Lateef and a couple other bits that we need to discuss. So real quick, this is a loaded update. Hey, I'm having a good Tuesday. If you are too, hit that like button. And also, if you're a diehard Nebraska fan and are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Now is the time to subscribe. The channel has been blowing up recently, and it's about to get busier with the transfer portal opening up. If you want to stay in tune with the Huskers every single day, it's no burner, takes 2 seconds, it's completely free. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, we have a lot to talk about. Want to get things started with Dana Holgorsen's eye-opening press conference. Then we'll get you all the news from today. Dylan Raiola burning bridges in Lincoln. But starting things off with Dana, he was asked about the elephant in the room. Dylan Raiola transferring, where do we go from here? His instant reaction. Now, right off the bat, he revealed that Dylan Raiola left Lincoln a couple days ago, that he did not inform the coaching staff anything. He did not inform the team anything, but they knew once he left, it was a done deal. He was entering the transfer portal, and that's when they found out yesterday. And I know everybody's saying, well, maybe Dylan Raiola is going to come back. You know, Emmett Johnson came back last year. Keona Davis came back next year. You never know. Players might come back to Nebraska. Dylan might be still our quarterback in 2026. I will tell you right now, with all the bridges that are being burnt, as we're about to talk about, the door is completely shut on Dylan Raiola. Because unlike those other players, when Emmett Johnson entered the portal, everybody wanted him back. Everybody was very positive about it. When Keona Davis entered the portal, everybody wanted him back. But when Dylan Raiola entered the portal, nobody wanted him back. Everybody was saying, bye, Dylan. You've already burnt a lot of bridges with the fan base, and that's thanks to you. That's thanks to this entire situation. All the rumors for about a month now. So Dylan Raiola is not welcome in Lincoln. Again, that's his doing. And he's going to go to greener pastures because of his decision and his decision alone. So Dylan Raiola not coming back because those bridges are burnt, as we're about to talk about, not only with the fan base, but with the coaching staff and with the players. Now, Dana, he kept it very professional. Again, he thanked Dylan for his contributions. He said, you know what, this is college football nowadays. He was asked about Dylan Raiola's development and whether Dylan took the step forward that maybe Dana Holgorsen was expecting. And he said, again, he was kept it very classy, but kind of hinted at the fact that, you know, Dylan really didn't live up to expectations. Unlike what Matt Rhule was telling people all year long. I think Matt Rhule, I don't know if he was naive or he actually believed this, but Matt Rhule was telling people, even in November, that Dylan Raiola was his top 10 quarterback. Like, well, I don't think Nebraska fans are stupid. Okay, Nebraska fans know that Dylan Raiola did not live up to expectations, right? We've known that for a very long time. This has been the only channel on YouTube saying that, right? Even when it's taboo to say that. So at least Dana Holgorsen's keeping it honest with us. He said, you know what? Dylan did not live up to expectations. That's partly because of him. That's partly because of the coaching staff, them not doing their jobs. That's partly because of Dana. He said the USC game, if Dylan stayed healthy, that might have been completely different. Like if Dylan stayed healthy against USC and won that football game, Dylan would probably still be here. But with TJ going out there balling out versus UCLA, that was the start of the end. That was when the fan base started to turn on Dylan. That's when all the rumors began. And we know that Dylan and his family, they didn't want a quarterback battle. That was the number one thing. Okay, they did not want to compete against TJ. They have not competed in a quarterback battle ever. Even in high school, they ran from every single battle they faced. They ran through every single bit of adversity. So again, I wish Dylan the best of luck. But again, if he was scared of TJ, he's going to have some time at Oregon, or he's going to have some time in the NFL. He's probably not going to have a battle at Oregon because Dante Moore's going to the NFL, but still. It's just not a good sign for his future, right? Even off the football field. If you can't deal with adversity in your personal life, I just don't want to know what to tell you. But again, the bridge is burnt there. Again, we'll talk about it as the view progresses. But Dana kept it very classy, but said Dylan did not live up to expectations. As for where do we go from here? Dana was asked, are we going to take a quarterback in the portal? Is it just going to be TJ next year? He said that while he believes in TJ, and of course, as we talked about earlier today on the channel, TJ will have a real opportunity to start next season. We are going to bring in a quarterback transfer. And we've been working on it for a very long time, even before Dylan entered the portal, because we knew. The coaching staff knew, the scouting department knew. So again, they've been looking at players in the portal from these past couple weeks. They've been looking at players who haven't entered the portal just yet. But again, we'll be ready to attack the portal when it opens up. And Dana said we're going to look for the best overall quarterback. Now, we didn't mention the fact that we're probably not going to get Brandon Swordsby again. When he says best overall quarterback, I don't think he's been completely truthful because, again, we don't want to spend a lot of money at the quarterback spot. We want to allocate some dollars to the offensive line, the defensive line. We're probably not going to spend more than $3 million. But again, we're still going to get a top dollar quarterback. We're going to get somebody who, again, some big time programs want. We're just not going to get one of the best quarterbacks in the portal, right? We're not going to get Sorsby. We're not going to get Sam Levitt, for that example. And he said, we need a quarterback who has mobility because that's something that TJ gives this offense that Dillon did not. And that's what Dana Holgorsen prefers. We need somebody who's a winner, who's experienced. But right now, Dana Holgorsen's focus is on the bowl game. Okay, we got to win the bowl game because that's very important for the transporter, for recruiting, and the longevity of the program. He talked about TJ's development. Again, how real is TJ Lateef going next year? Is he going to be our starter even if we bring in a quarterback transfer? And he said, you know what? The jump that TJ has took from July to now has been exponential. Even the jump that he took from last December to now, it's been unbelievable, right? Where there's two things that Dane is really impressed with when it comes to TJ. Number one, his calmness, right? For a true freshman, he's incredibly confident, he's incredibly humble, and he's incredibly eager to get better. That's the second thing, right? Where TJ's always trying to improve. He's not super cocky in himself. He knows that he's a really good player, but again, he has a long ways to go. And that's kind of different from Dillon, where Dillon was kind of cocky. Dillon knew he was the guy. Dillon's been kind of handed everything, since he was born, right? Being the son of an NFL player. And again, that's why Dillon kind of ran from adversity, where TJ is the opposite. TJ was never given anything. He had to work for everything. He had to earn everything. At Orange Lutheran, that's why he never transferred high schools. Dillon did 4 times. So again, kind of took some shots at Dillon a little bit throughout this press conference, but TJ, again, the development has been unbelievable, and he's going to take another big jump going into next year. Couple bowl game nuggets that we need to discuss. Again, talked about Donovan Raiola. He wished Donnie well. He said that the run blocking was actually pretty good this season, which I agree with. Again, that's partly the reason why Emmett had a good year, is because the offensive line was creating holes in the running game. But he said, the reason why that decision was made is because the pass pro was horrific, right? The pass pro was awful. The depth was awful. These players weren't getting developed at a very high level. They didn't even know their assignments. So he said that he did not make the decision. That was Matt Rule's decision and Matt Rule's decision alone. But again, he's wishing Donovan Raiola well. As for Jeep Wade, he said that he was one of the guys who hired Jeep Wade. He said he's an impressive track record. He's a good teacher. He's energetic, kind of like Mike Eckler. He knows how to rebuild quick, and that's exactly what we need to do. We need to rebuild this offensive line in a span of a couple months. And then really briefly talking about the running backs that had the bowl game, said, they're excited knowing how big their opportunity is. This is a career-defining game for a lot of those guys, Isaiah Mozee, Mekhi Nelson. Again, depending on how those guys play, it's going to impact our strategy in the portal. Whereas, if those guys go out there and ball out, Mekhi Nelson runs for 100, Isaiah runs for 50 and some change, and also has 50, receiving yards, we might only take one running back in the portal. But if those guys stink it up, we might take 2, we might take 3. Right? So it will quite literally be the most important game of both Isaiah Mozee's and Mekhi Nelson's career. All right, that was Dana Holgorsen's press conference. Now let's get to a couple player reactions to Dylan Raiola quitting on the team, transferring away from the program. I thought 2 were very interesting. Number one, Mekhi Nelson talked to the media. And of course, he was asked about Dillon. All these guys were asked about Dillon. And he said, and I quote, "To be honest with you, it's next man up." That's all he said. He said, "To be honest with you, it's next man up." Mekhi Nelson does not care. He does not care. And that's the mindset of a lot of those players in the locker room. They don't care. Okay, some players like Dillon, but they understand it's a business, and they also understand that Dillon wasn't the best quarterback in the world. And they understand that this has been coming for a long time now. They weren't shocked by this news. Everybody heard the rumors. Everybody knew. These players aren't naive. A lot of the players watching the channel, they've seen me covering this for the past month, right? So Mekhi Nelson said, "To be honest with you, it's next man up." Interesting. Tyler Knack also had a very interesting quote. That should be eye-opening to a lot of you. He said, "You either commit to a program or you commit to a dollar amount." Now, I don't know if that was in reference to Dillon, but you know it's in reference to Dillon, right? You either commit to a program or you commit to a dollar amount. We know Dillon committed to a dollar amount. And this is what I've been telling you guys for 2 years now, okay? Back when, once again, when it was taboo to not say anything bad about Dillon, I told you guys, would Dillon really be here if he was going to pay pennies? No, he wouldn't. The only reason Dillon actually came here is because we offered more than Georgia at the very last second. The NIL collective came through. And also Dillon selfishly wanted to get on the field, and he knew, and Matt Rule promised him that if he were to commit here, he would play as a day one starter. If he went to Georgia, he wouldn't. So the whole narrative, Dillon came here because he wanted to be in Nebraska Cornhusker. No, he came here because of the money. And that dude lives a luxurious lifestyle. He got a rich family, right, with his dad, but Dillon lives a luxurious lifestyle. He wants some money too. Again, wish him the best of luck, but it's been a very, very sloppy exit. Talking about Dylan Raiola burning some bridges. Let's just discuss this. It was reported earlier today that Dylan Raiola has unfollowed Nebraska football on social media. He unfollowed Matt Rule. I've heard from a couple people inside the locker room that, again, Matt Rule Not been too happy with Dylan over these past couple weeks. Like Matt Rule's right? Matt Rule's kind of known this is what's going to happen, but again, it's been a sloppy exit. Like the family's not happy with Matt Rule. They haven't been happy with Matt Rule for some time now. We reported on the channel about 3 weeks ago that Dominic was not happy with Matt in the development of Dylan, how TJ looked a lot better than Dylan, this, that, and the third. So the bridge is completely burnt with Dylan Raiola and Matt Rule. There's some things that were behind the scenes that are all alleged, so I'm not really going to say it on the channel, but yeah, I mean, this is what Dylan does, man. He burns bridges. He's burned bridges everywhere he's went, even in high school, right? When he transferred a million times, he burned bridges. He burned bridges when he decommitted from Ohio State. He burned bridges when he decommitted from Georgia. But that's absolutely crazy to me that he's burning bridges with our head coach who defended him for years and who would prop him up for years. And Matt Rule never said anything bad about Dylan. Even when Dylan was about to transfer, Matt Rule would still sit there and defend him. It's one thing to burn a bridge with a coach who maybe was kind of hinting at you leaving, but Matt Rule has been an advocate for Dylan far more than he should have been. But again, it speaks to the real character of this man, the real character, the real leader of this guy. Oh, he's the biggest leader on the team. Yeah, really was he? No, he wasn't. But burning bridges in Lincoln, again, a lot of players are okay with it, right? The players that I've talked to off the record, they're perfectly fine with it. Because again, they're not naive. They knew this was happening. And that they're comfortable with TJ being a starter going forward. Now, as for the rumors right now, again, I told you guys that Oregon's the destination for Dylan. I told you guys that a month ago when Dayton decommitted that. Again, once Dylan started following those Oregon accounts, we started hearing the money behind the scenes. We know that Dane Lanning has tampered since he got to Oregon. We know it's pretty much a done deal that Dylan will go to Oregon with Dante Moore going off to the NFL. And Oregon fans, they're revolting against him. I don't know if you guys have seen the Oregon Twitter, Instagram, social media. I know a couple Oregon fans personally in my personal life, message boards even. Every single Oregon fan does not want Dylan Raiola. It's actually a little bit funny. If it wasn't sad a little bit. Like, I'm starting to even feel a little bit bad for Dylan. I'm starting to feel a little bit bad for him a little bit even, but again, they don't want him, man. They're gonna have him. Like the Oregon fans don't have a choice. It's gonna be Dylan. It's gonna be Dylan because it's pretty much already a done deal. But it says a lot, man. And again, they'll embrace him when he gets there. Right now, they might not like him, but they'll embrace him when he gets there. But that's just eye-opening. And they don't want the baggage because it's not just that you're getting Dylan. It's getting everything that comes with Dylan. You're getting the entire family. You're getting Dayton, who's not a good quarterback, but you have to have him. You're getting all the rumors, the Mahomes crap, right, that nobody wants to deal with, the memes. Okay, so that's why Dylan right now he's been one of the most disliked players in America for a very long time. Because of the whole Mahomes stuff. Now Oregon's going to take on that baggage, and they're not a fan of him. They're not a fan. They're revolting. Like, there are a lot of Oregon accounts who are saying, I will not support Dane Lanning if he takes Dylan Raiola. Okay. It's crazy, man. It's crazy to see. And again, I want to remind you guys that we play Oregon next year. Who is going to be their starter quarterback? It's going to be Dylan. Now, I wish that game was in Lincoln. That game would be unbelievable if Dylan returned to Lincoln. That game would be unbelievable. Unfortunately, we play in Eugene. However, we do play Oregon at home in 2027. So if Dylan stays in 27, he'll play in Lincoln. We'll see. But again, we'll play Oregon next year, which will be crazy. But again, pretty much a done deal that Dylan Raiola will be a Duck. Then I want to talk about a bad sign about Nebraska football that really nobody's talking about. You know, last year, when we were going through this whole portal process in December, there were always like a bunch of players who we all agree as a fan base that we did not want to lose, right? Like a Jacory, Barney, basically all these young players. Like as a fan base, we were like, okay, we can't lose Jacory, Barney, we can't lose Dante Dowdell, we can't lose Jamari Butler, we can't lose Keona Davis, Vincent Shavers, Mario Buford, go down line, Willis McGahee, right? There were all these young players who we felt really good about, and we're like, we can't lose these guys because they played significant snaps as a true freshman or as a redshirt freshman. This year, there's not as many players who you say that about. Let me ask you right now, who's a young player, and I'm talking like freshman on this team, who you absolutely do not want to lose because of what you've seen on the field? Is there any? Again, besides TJ, obviously. TJ's really the only one. But the receivers, like Cortez, Cortez is a really good player. I believe in him. But if Cortez were to leave, is that like a deal breaker as big as like Jacory leaving last year? No, right? Jeremiah Jones. I love Jeremiah Jones. And Jeremiah Jones isn't going to leave, by the way. But if you were to leave, like, would everybody freak out and say, this is program changing? I don't know, right? I mean, offensive line, same deal. Defensive line, same deal. I mean, Cade Petchock, maybe. So that honestly is a bad sign for the future of the program. We act like this young talent so good over the youngest team in the Big Ten. Well, we feel worse about the young talent than we did last year. You know, that's an objective truth. And objectively, our recruiting classes are getting worse. Okay, the 25 class is worse than the 24 class. The 26 class is worse than the 25 class. So again, I just think the whole we're such a young team thing is overstated, because again, it's one thing to be young, it's one thing to be talented and young. I think that young talent is overstated. I think it's overstated. And a lot of these players who are talented, we just haven't seen them play yet. Again, that's a huge gamble, which means, again, we got to attack the portal because, again, we're going to do a crucial make or break year 4, but I thought I'd bring up that argument. And then talking about the quarterback portal, once again, this will be a huge conversation for the next month, right? So buckle up, folks. This is just the beginning because this will be something we talk about almost every single day on the channel, right? And again, I'm just looking through it, and we talked about it earlier. And again, make sure to watch that video if you haven't already, going over our top quarterback targets. You know, it's hard to have a lot of confidence about next year if we're not going to get a top dollar quarterback. You know, we're not going to spend more than $3.5 million. We're not going to get Swordsby. We're not going to get Lagway. We're not going to get, go down the line, right? We're not going to get Sam Levitt. So you're telling me we have the hardest schedule in the Big Ten next year, but we're not going to get a top dollar quarterback transfer. How can anybody have confidence that we're going to win 7 or 8 games? Again, and you can find some really good stud quarterbacks from like the group of 5 ranks, but I just don't know if we found like the bona fide stud just yet. I don't know if they've entered the portal just yet. Like Colin Joseph's cool, but do you really think Colin Joseph is going to be a game changer here? I don't really know if he fits the Dane Holgorsen offense. That's the only thing I'm like stuck on with him. I do like him, but I don't know if we found maybe the Devin Dampier that we're looking for, right? Transfer from New Mexico. I don't know if we found the Diego Pavia yet. I don't know if we found the Chandler Morris yet. I'm talking about these group of 5 studs who are instant day one guys. I don't know if that guy's in the portal just yet. You could argue it's Colin Joseph, but it's tough to say, right? It's tough to say. But again, I will stand by this. I don't think our quarterback transfers in the portal yet. I'll stand by that. And I think one of the guys who I've heard a lot about is UNLV quarterback and LSU quarterback. We'll see. We'll see. And then there is now one quarterback who I also have my eyes out for, who I guess I think it'd be a controversial take, but I'd be a fan of. Again, it was just announced that Ives re-signed with USC. We've already talked about this. Like they're posting up like an NFL team signing the contract. Anyways, it's kind of funny. But anyways, with Ives returning, Hussein Longstreet, a lot of questions around him. Now, this is a future, or excuse me, this is a past 5-star quarterback, a lot of big-time offers. USC fans love this guy. Threw for only 100 yards this year as a true freshman, but again, 6 foot tall, 200 pounds. I mean, he's a dual-threat quarterback. This dude's speedy with a rocket arm. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to enter the portal, and yes, he'd be a huge question mark, right, with his lack of production, but the upside's unprecedented. And this is kind of who I think we might take, because it really depends on how much we value Marcus Davila. If we like Marcus Davila, I think this is the kind of be the quarterback we're going to land. We're not going to land like a guy like Colin Joseph, because I think there's a lot of confidence in that building that TJ Lateef and Marcus Davila are already good enough. So why would we even land another experienced quarterback for a lot of money that we might not use? So a guy like Hussein Longstreet with a lot of potential, who's a former big-time recruit, might be down our alley. Again, there's a lot of different ways we can go about this. I just think a lot of people have their expectations really high for the quarterback transfer. I don't even know if that's going to happen. I think it might be somebody like him who hasn't even started. It really might. And I know that might sound crazy, but really, this coaching staff loves TJ. They love TJ. They want a real battle, and they're going to have a real battle. But as a quarterback transfer, like let's say Colin Joseph, why would you commit to Nebraska potentially not start? You want to make sure you're starting. Well, we can't assure him anything, right? With how unprecedented TJ's upside is. I don't know. Hussein Longstreet is definitely a name to remember. A couple other bits before we get out of here. Danny Odom, 5-star Nebraska commit, he's up for the award for the Defensive Player of the Year. So again, 5-star Danny Odom, he's a stud, man. I hope he wins this. We'll see if he does, but that would be a huge, huge honor for the All-American Bowl. Also, reminder, bowl games, I'd say the real bowl games start today. The Boise State bowl game was fake. The FCS bowl game was fake. The real bowl games start today, so everybody make sure, if you haven't already, we have 70 people in here, make sure to join the WDS Nebraska YouTube Bowl Challenge. Let's get up to 100. I will be updating this pretty much every single day on the channel. We'll be talking about who's number 1. So again, make sure to join this, and again, the winner will have a big shout out on the channel. Right now, WilsonDittman's in first place. But we also have a bunch of other people in here. So again, everybody join up if you haven't already. And also, bowl game of the day, Troy versus Jacksonville State. Let me know who you got. I got Jacksonville State in the prestigious Salute to Veterans Bowl. So let me know who you got. All right, guys, go Big Red. Go my roll. See you in the next one. It's going to be a busy couple of days. Go Big Red. And I'll see you in the next one.